Okay, looks like we're up and going. I don't know why this always changes. There we go. Now we got it. That looks a little better. All right, I think we're live. Appear to be. Hello, Andrew. How you doing there, buddy? Are we looking and sounding good today? Where am I here? Oh, yeah. I was a little concerned about my internet connection today, but it looks like it's doing good. Because the sun's out and it's shining. They had forecast rain for us, so on those days sometimes mine totally glips out. Hey Adrian, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. I always appreciate you two guys. You never fail me. You're dependable. Got a new little tank I'm vaping on today. Of course, this ain't the drip tip it comes with. It comes with one of those big old low profile 810s. It's the Eclipse single, not the MTL, not the dual, the single, the first one. Angel Gomez sent it to me, and I just got done with the video. I hadn't got it edited or posted yet, but I built it to suit me, so it's nowhere near built the way it's designed to be built. But it's working real nice. I really like it so far. It's doing real good. I may need to. I got like 20 milligram juice in it right now. I may need to back it down to about 12 or something. But it's giving lots of flavor, lots of, and all the vapor I need. So working real good at the moment. It's amazing. Some of those DTL tanks, you can, if they're, depending on how they're designed internally, you can sometimes back them down and get a restricted direct lung or a real loose mouth to lung, and they vape good. But you know, you gotta kind of go a little backwards as to how you see people build them on YouTube and whatnot. But so far, that one's doing real good. How are things over in the UK? I hadn't seen anything on the news lately about anything happening. Now, see, I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of an Uber toot. I guess I'm behind the times. I'm in the dark. Strikes and damps. See, we don't, of course, the U.S. is a little different on strikes. Used to have them quite often. They don't have them too often anymore. And it varies greatly over here on the individual states, because some states are union and some states are what they call free to work states, where you kind of have a union if you want one, but it ain't gonna have no power and it ain't gonna do you no good. Because in a right to work state, not free to work, right to work states, what they call them. It's a weird name because it kind of contradicts what it does. But if you're like out here in Arizona, if you say had a union and everybody there decided they was going to strike, or 90% of the people decided to strike, well, the company just fire everybody. They just fire everybody and hire new people, and you know that's just what would happen. Now the states that have unions, they got like contracts and whatnot, I guess. I've never actually lived in a union state, but I don't know exactly even how they, how it works. I guess they got a contract, so they can't just fire everybody. But yeah, I'd hear in the states I've lived in, Texas and Kentucky, all those are right to work states, and if you go on strike, you're liable to get fired. So you don't see no strikes. Yeah, Andrew, I see him mention that. In the mornings, I watch Varney and Company to see what's going on in the stock market. And, he's originally from the UK, and so he keeps up with that, and they usually have a little segment devoted to that, one way or the other. But I know that's a big thing over there. And even there's some people over here get caught up in it too, because it's drama. Hey, there's drama junkies regardless of what country you were born in or whatever. There's a drama junkie is a drama junkie, and a lot of people get to keep up with it. Hey, whatever floats your boat. Believe it or not, I like Japanese anime. Even as old and bald as I am, that's just what I like. I like, to watch anime. We've had a little bit of rain recently, sprinkled a little bit last night, but the sun's shining today, and I think next week there's a few days of chance of rain, but this time of year out here, just real light rains. You don't really get thunderstorms or downpours or hardly any of that stuff in the wintertime out here. I know when I lived in Kentucky, my God, it rained at least once a week, and I mean rained hard, and it was every morning you drove to work in the fog. Yeah, couldn't have been good on you. I swear, a lot of people just ignore it, I guess, because they don't have a choice. But I mean, it would be dangerous to drive till about 10 or 11 o'clock every morning. It was so thick, and that couldn't have been good to breathe constantly, day in and day out. I just couldn't. Didn't feel good. It just kind of gave you that feeling of, this really, I don't think this is real healthy. Just gave me that feeling in the back of my mind. Plus, to say nothing about how damn dangerous the roads were. Oh my God, they have a wreck, 2 or 3 wrecks every day because of the fog, and people didn't slow down a damn bit. And if you didn't have the road completely memorized, hell, you'd run off the road if you tried to make any speed whatsoever. And then people in front of you didn't know how to drive in the fog or didn't know the road, so they're slowed down or fucking stopped, and you just plow into them and before you see them. And that's one of the reasons I'm out here, because of the weather. Don't mess. Me and my wife have been lucky. We've been able to move about, if we wanted to. We were not locked into a location, a state, a region, or anything like that. We could go pretty much wherever we wanted to, and we were never really locked in. So a lot of people don't have that choice, but we were lucky enough. But yeah, Adrian, I do hear about on the news about a strike every now and then. It seems like shit just about. Of course, y'all got a lot more stuff that's run by the government than we do, also, and a lot of the civil stuff that's run by the government. So they get a strike all the time. Now, I tell you what, I did hear on the news this morning that they're downplaying the hell out of it over here, was the problem that the airlines had. Something to do with their navigation system or something, the FAA or FF, whatever the hell it is, FAA. Something about their navigation system went down. And, it's like, look, if you got hacked, say you got hacked. Come on. Say, if you got hacked, say you got hacked. Don't be afraid. But yeah, it seems like all the planes were grounded for quite a while, and they just barely. Well, this was earlier this morning. They barely got them going again, and of course their schedules are just totally out the window. And I think it's kind of. I always get a kick out of that because I hadn't flown in, my God, I don't know how many years. Way back before COVID, because I didn't care for the restrictions they put on us after the 9/11 deal. I didn't care for those, and just the way they treated you. I mean, they treated you bad to start with, and then they just flat started treating you like cattle, and and all these damn people in the security lines that shouldn't have been running the deep fryer at McDonald's, and the authority went. You talk about authority going to somebody's head. Oh my God, those people just, whoo. The authority went to their head so bad it was bad, and so hey. If you're going to treat me like that, no problem. I just won't do business with you. That's the easiest way out of that deal, And hell, if everybody wasn't in such a damn hurry, there would be no reason hardly to fly, But for a long time, it was cheap and it was easy. Wasn't no problem. Okay, everybody got used to just flying all over the place. And it amazes me how the illusion of being safe, how much they project that, because, you just go to the damn airport and watch one of those jets take off or land, and realizing how big it is, realizing what's all involved in it, and all this kind of good stuff. And it's like, you're putting your life into not just the pilot's hand, but everybody that worked on that goddamn plane over the years, his hand, and all this kind of stuff. It can be very dangerous. And if you're willing to take that risk, okay, and I did for a long time. I said, hell, I'll roll them dice. I'll play the odds, because the odds are pretty good as far as numbers go. The way you figure odds, this many planes are flying, this many planes crashed, opposed to, the odds of you getting in a crash out on the street or on the highway. Mathematically, odds are better. but there ain't nothing safe about it. I think I'm gonna start to get this coil broke in a little bit here. I think I cut it. I think I cut the wattage down too low that time around. Let's see. I hadn't got anything else in new. I hadn't even ordered anything. Had nothing really caught my eye. And on the vape in the vape world, at the moment, what has caught my eye, some of it's a little bit too pricey at the moment. I like that the looks of that hazard thing, where it was, the tank you could put boros in. It came with a RBAs for boros. I'll put that away. You put those in it, and it came with one, but it had plastic threads on the damn tank, and a little pricey. It's $53, I think, is what I saw it for last. A little pricey. And I'm not comparing it. I don't compare, when I compare prices on stuff, I don't compare it to, well, I guess you could say it's kind of a similar item, because my original Bandy Vape Pulse AIO, I only paid like, I think, $60 for that, and you got a whole bunch of stuff. You got the mods, you got 2 tanks, and an RBA. Of course, they had trouble with it, but still, you got all that stuff for basically the same price. Whereas this, you're just getting the tank and an RBA. That's kind of how I compare stuff. It's what all I get for the money. No, I've never placed an order with AliExpress, Andrew. I used to, in fact, I haven't even shopped them in like forever. But I used to a long, long time ago. And I have bought stuff from DH Gate, and it's mainly for people. It's mainly for vape shops and retailers, is because they try to sell 10 or more of a certain item, but you can filter them down to one item. Of course, they charge you a little more, than they would for 10 price per unit, but there is a lot of stuff on there they'll let you buy for one item at a time. And I have bought stuff from them, and a long time ago, and never had trouble with them. They were back in them days. They were no slower or faster than Fastech was. So, but I have looked. I used to look a long time ago. I looked at AliExpress. I guess they finally let that guy that owns it out of the Chinese gulag, because he like vanished for a little while. I remember something about that. The government said, "Hey, come here, boy. Come here. You're making too much money here. You're going to have to start sharing a little more of that." And I think he was kind of, wanting to back talk him a little bit or something. And yeah, he vanished for a little while. And mysteriously reappeared. The way I understand it, they're supposed to be like the Amazon of China. So, I think they're supposed to be cheap. But like I say, I hadn't shopped them in a while. Yeah, I think that's going to turn out to be a nice little tank. Now, I'm still vaping on my K-Fun X. Really enjoying it. I'm also vaping on my my Fev. Oh, you just got you a whole batch of stuff in, huh, Adrian? Did you get the billet box with the DNA chip or the 70-watt one? You talking about? Yeah, I think this one. No, this ain't. What is this? This one here. Yeah, yeah, it's the Aspirea Dual 18650. It was I forget what I got a video on it. It was cheap for a Dual 18650. It's heavy as hell though. But you know, I mean, it ain't like I don't wag it around my pocket. It is nice though. Got the padding here, and it works just fine. Works just fine. I have no complaints on it whatsoever. It's got the little rubber bumpers, so if it falls over, it's got some protection. But it's heavy as hell. It's the only thing bad. I don't know if it's bad, but you know it doesn't fall over too good. Well, hello, Brett. How you doing? Hello, Jonah. I didn't notice that when you asked that question. I get used to talking to Adrian and Andrew. Sometimes I miss the name that pops up, but how are both of y'all doing? Glad you could come by today. But yeah, it's good little. Like I say, I have so far. We'll say this year. We're only 11 days in, so far this year, I have resisted to buy any mod that wasn't at least dual 18650 or single 21700. I have resisted to this point of getting another single 18650 mod of any design or type or design. But so far, I have resisted that temptation because I really don't have a use for a single 18650 mod. I've got a bunch of them. I've got 10 or more sitting up there on the shelf that are still perfect. I've still got almost, I don't know, some of them are still new in the box. Hadn't even never been opened. But you know, what can I say? I got lazy, you know. I don't want to change the damn batteries out every day. I want to set them beside the recliner for 2 or 3 days before I have to mess with worrying about changing the battery. Just got lazy. And I don't if I go out, I take something small like this little Pasito, or I take my little EVO pod kit. If I leave the house, you know, I'll take this. I don't wag around a great big old mod. Yeah, it's hard to resist that latest and greatest shiny thing. It really is. It really is. You know, and I've talked about this before, but there's, in my opinion, a lot of the companies are doing their self a disservice because they'll have somebody do the video. They'll send them off to the reviewers, and they'll have to do the video 30 days before they release them for sale. That's just a little too long. I mean, I understand building hype, but uh, 30 days is just a little too long for that. And a couple of the companies have done that lately. And you know, I had my mind set to buy a couple of items, but then the 30 days later, I'd done cooled off and never bought them. And then saw the price. Price didn't do nothing for me. It wasn't a real bargain. Yeah, and I'd cooled off, didn't purchase them. But if I'd have been able to order them that day, or maybe even a couple of days, I might have bought them. But they're getting their, to me, they're waiting too long to release them. And I understand the hype, but build the hype. I understand that part of the marketing, but 30 days is a little bit too long for me, anyhow. It's just a little too long. I lose my, I lose that impulse. Well, Andrew, I mean, I don't know that I haven't heard. Of course, I don't deal with them, but I haven't heard anything bad about AliExpress. Like I say, it's supposed to be the equivalent to Amazon. So now I don't know exactly how it works, whether you're dealing, because on Amazon, a lot of times they have it in stock in their warehouse. So mainly you're dealing with them one-on-one. But then there's other times, where basically they're just the order taker and they send the order on to the manufacturer, and then they drop ship it to you. I don't know exactly how AliExpress does it, but I haven't really heard anything bad about it. So, but that depends on whether you're dealing with them or whether they're just taking the order and passing it on to the manufacturer, and then you're dependent upon how reputable they are. So, of course, like on Amazon, you can, if you trust the reviews and the ratings, you can, see if somebody has got a good rating for how they treat their customers. And kind of the same way, it's what's that way on DHgate. Of course, I think they're just all order takers, because everybody that I used to do with on DHgate was, they just took the order, and there was a person here selling these items, and they just put it up there for sale. So you were basically dealing with that person, but they did have a rating system where they got rated whether or not, if they were worth a damn or not. Of course, that's another one of those things, like, if you got some buddies that'll, get on there and give you a good rating, well, it kind of, all that shit kind of goes out the window as far as trusting it, Now, luckily, Amazon got to where I don't think they would let you rate, or I don't know if they'd let you do it anymore, or if they would put a little stipulation on if you put a review or a comment, you had to have bought the product. Otherwise, either you had to do it to put it up there, or it would put up a little thing saying this was a non-purchased item, or this person that's commenting here didn't purchase this item. So well, I usually have four devices sitting beside my recliner, and I've got about 3 in here, sometimes 4, depends on. Today I've actually got 5 because I was doing this new little tank I got, this Eclipse. But but it's going to go back into the recliner. Two of these are going to go back to beside the recliner, and then I'll just have three in here. But when I go to now, if it depends on how far I'm going and how long I'm going to be away from home. I'll either take just one or I'll take two small pod devices. But and even when I worked, hell, I drug a Pasito around for 2 years, I think. Of course, it's got the RBA section in it. It's not I don't use the replaceable coils. I bought the little RBA section. So anyhow, this would last me all day at work. So it was fine. It was high nic juice in it. Well, I think 24 at least freebase. But this and a bottle of juice, I was good to go. Of course, I always kept a charge cable in my lunchbox just in case. But very, very seldom did I even have to charge a battery. Yeah, I saw that video this morning, Adrian. I guess he hit a stud. Or he hit the door frame, or he hit a stud or something, because I think I could easily put my hand through a piece of sheetrock without breaking it. A lot of times when you're doing renovation and whatnot, you're tearing down a house. Well, you can just feel for a stud, and you find out if you're taking the sheetrock down, if you're needing to get inside the wall. If you don't need to be nice and neat and all that, you can just kind of find the stud and pop through the sheetrock, start peeling it off of your hand. But I've got two old Vamos, and I've got this one deal. I'll show you this. I should fix it up and vape it, because it's like a collector's item almost. Where's it? And I don't even remember what the name of this, but it's actually a Vamo, but it's a double barrel Vamo. Single 18650. It's basically just a Vamo that they unscrewed in the middle and put it into this configuration here. And this is all stainless steel. This damn thing's heavy, even when there's no battery in it. And so it's all steel. But it's a neat little device. The only trouble with it, you got to have I don't think you can go below an ohm, and it won't read it. I'll make sure that there ain't no battery in here. But yeah, back in the day, she had a tubed Vamo, man. That was, they were good little deals. I never had one break on me, or basically wear out or anything. Just other mods came along, and I don't even remember what I paid for this. I think I got an old video on it, but my God, that was many years ago. But still, it still works as far as I know. It's got the little Ego connection. You see it? See, it's got a 510 or an Ego. That's how old it is. It's got an Ego connection. I could throw an old Pro Tank on it or something, I guess. Yeah, I was trouble back in them days, because none of the stuff, it was all before its time or whatever, because I had an old vicious ant uh, Genesis tank, you know, and well, hell, you had to, and I was using it on an old Bama. Well, hell, you had to build your coil out of like 30 gauge or 32 gauge to get the resistance up high enough to where the damn thing would fire it. It wasn't like you could throw a hellacious coil in there, but it wouldn't fire it, because it had to be above an ohm, otherwise it wouldn't work. People don't realize the trouble we had back in them days, because you were limited. That's again, if you wanted to do real low resistance coils, well, you had to do a Mac. That was it. That was your choice. Yeah, he won't be putting any coils in though anytime soon, Adrian. But I don't feel sorry for him. I'm sure he's got enough pods and coils and shit to last him God knows how long. So I watched the little video this morning. I was wondering how he broke it, because he had one little video out the other day that he just had it in a cast, and I was curious as to how he broke it, because it's like, well, you review vape shit for a living, so how did you break your hand? I was curious. Oh, damn, Andrew, hell, wasn't you driving halfway across the country? We got people that live up here in the little closest town I'm to here. Hell, they'll drive. There's some of them that work in Vegas, and it's 100-mile one way, and they drive it like every day, and it's like, damn. I hope you did the math. That and you're getting paid enough for all that. I was lucky this year. They didn't even call me. Of course, I'm retired, and they didn't even call me to help them do the Christmas rush at FedEx, because two reasons, actually, because the economy is so damn far in the tank over here that the Christmas rush wasn't nowhere near like normal. I mean, it was, everybody ain't got no money. Eggs are $7 a dozen, and nobody's spending any money. And plus, they finally, I guess FedEx did it. They came up with a new procedure or regulation or whatever. But because before, if I would just go online every now and then and renew my password, I kind of stayed on the books, you might say, as far as being an eligible driver. And all of a sudden, they just decided they wasn't going to do that anymore. So the guy just can't call me in, every now and then when he needs help or needs something extra. He can't do that anymore. So I'm off the deal. He would have to totally rehire me. And he said they've even made that extremely a lot more difficult than it was when I first got hired. So I guess I'm totally retired now. Well, I don't know, Andrew. I don't. My wife goes to Walmart. She does the shopping, and or Safeway or Smith's, wherever she decides to go, she does the shopping. And I don't. I'm very seldom this time of year. I very very seldom go to town. And if I go, it's just to Harbor Freight, Home Depot, someplace like that. I very seldom go to Walmart. I hate to go to Walmart. Or I go to the auto parts store. I don't doubt it. That's the next thing. I'm surprised. Well, let's see. Do we? No, it should be Valentine's shit out at our stores. They should have Valentine's Day stuff instead of Easter. It's amazing how early they put that kind of shit out there. It's amazing. And it's what's amazing at our stores, like our Walmart is, they'll have either Valentine's Day stuff or Easter stuff, two big long aisles of that shit. And then you go over here to where the normal foods are, the canned goods, and the normal foods, and there's bare spots all over the place. And it's like, really? What the hell? You can get all this bullshit, but you can't get some damn normal food. Don't give me no bullshit about a shortage. You got all this crap over here for sale. Well, Now I will say one thing. I was surprised. Hey Chuck, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping by. I'll be watching y'all tonight. Might even drop in for the little after show. Now I noticed it was last night. I was watching Demi and Phil. Of course, Demi has to give his 2 cents on what's that lady's name? Amanda Wheeler. And of course, Grim gave his little spiel on it the other day, and he was defending his position this morning on his little video where he showed, told how he broke his hand and all that. Now, just in case you're curious, here's my position on that. I don't give a fuck. That's my position. And here's how, if you've watched my videos for a long time, you'll wonder, you might have noticed that I didn't really go in for the advocacy stuff. I didn't really preach it. I didn't support it or anything like that. And you wonder why. Well, of course, I look at things very, very differently than a lot of people do. And, I did. Now, my part was I could kind of see the shit coming. So I stocked up, and I advised all my viewers to stock up on everything, And, but here was my position, on my main position. The reason I never did the advocacy stuff, I barely even can pronounce the damn word. Here was my position on that. Let me elaborate greatly here. Let's suppose we was back in Europe, back in the days of kings and knights, fierce battles on battlefields and that kind of deal. Okay. Well, you got 3 kingdoms. You got the smoking, the tobacco kingdom. Okay. And you got the vapor kingdom, and then you got my kingdom. And let's say I'm the ruler, the king. Okay, not that I'm promoting myself. It's just the way I view things. All right. Well, I had a peace treaty with both, kind of peace treaty with both of the other kingdoms surrounding my little kingdom. Okay. And as long as I left them alone, they kind of left me alone. Well, they decided they were going to have a battle. Okay. Wanted me to come, wanted me to support this. The tobacco wanted me to support their kingdom, and the vapors wanted me to support their kingdom. Okay. So the day of the battle, me and my few little knights, we show up on the battlefield, and we look over here on this side. Well, you got the tobacco kingdom, and they look like the Romans. I mean, they got 10,000 troops. They got cavalry. They got steel swords, steel spears, steel shields. They got full body armor. They're in formation, and over here on this side, you got the vapors, where you got basically a few wannabe kings and some peasants scrambling around. Let's say you got, a couple of hundred, and they're scrambling around, and they got their wooden farm implements is what they got for weapons. And you kind of look over and you notice, well, hell, they're even fighting amongst themselves. They're over here arguing amongst themselves, fixing to go up against this, this top-notch goddamn army over here. Well, that's what you see that's what I see when I roll up on the battlefield. So, what I do? I turn my ass right back around. I go home and I fortify my walls around my castle. Now, that's what I do. But that's what I do, and that's the reason I never dove into the advocacy thing. Because one thing I won't do, it's just like you can put it in a different analogy. Let's say you're playing baseball, football, whatever, a couple of teams. You look at one team, you look at the other team. I'm not joining the losing team. I'm just not. I'm not going to, join the losing team and put out a lot of effort, or in some cases a lot of money, and all this if they don't have a decent game plan or enough huevos to carry out a game plan that will ensure success. So I just never got into it. So as far as this goes, am I surprised? Absolutely not. Do I care? Even less. So, that's my position. But, drama's drama, and whatever makes drama, people will rattle on about it. Change the subject to hair. And me and Chuck knows a little bit about this, but I was just tell him that in April of this coming year, in April, I get to start filling out the paperwork to get my Social Security. Finally. So we can be really, really, really retired. And one of these days, I got to get around to uh, seeing how much money I can. Yeah, I'm not waiting till 65. I'm getting it as quick as I can. Quick as I can. You can kind of do the math. Of course, if we knew when we were going to die, the year we were going to die in, then it would be real easy math to do as to whether you should claim it early or wait and get a little bit more every month. So it can work either way, but to be certain, you'd have to know what year you were going to die. We don't know that. Because if you take, let's say you take two people, they're going to die when they're, let's say, 67. That's when both these people are going to die from unknown causes or whatever. Okay, well, one guy starts taking it when he's 62. Other guy waits till 65. If you do the math, I think the guy that started taking it at 62 is going to come out ahead in the end as far as how much money of his money he got back from the government than the guy that waited till 65. Even though he got more a month, he had less years to get it. So you would have to do the math on that. Of course, in the position I'm in, what I'll get will be plenty for me. I'll even have, leftovers to pile in the bank every month. So, or piss off on vape stuff. I could probably easily spend, $100 a month on vape gear and still pile stuff in the bank, just because of the position I've worked and gotten myself into here. Yeah, there was one. I don't know if it was on your show I mentioned it or in the after show, or might have been on one of my lives here. But there's been a couple of times I could have gotten me a disability when I was younger, fairly legitimate disability, but I would have had to stop drag racing my motorcycle if I because there wasn't no way they was going to give me a racing license if I had a disability. And plus, I had to go get physicals every 2 years to keep my racing license. So I never did because I wanted to keep on racing. Well, they would hope, Andrew, they hope you die. They hope you die as soon as possible. But not until you've given, over here in the U.S., they want you to wait until you get some kind of bad disease, and you give all your life savings to the healthcare industry, and then you can kick the bucket. Now I tell you, this time of year, for me, it's a little too cold to go out in the garage and make stuff to build my inventory back up for next year, which for the stuff I sell at the markets. But I'm starting to get a little bit bored. It's just too cold to go out in the garage. I mean, I've got heaters out there, but I can't see wasting, $20-$30 of propane to heat the garage when I've got time, because I've still got lots of inventory left from next year, and I don't plan on really expanding any lines for next year because of the economy so bad. So all I need to do is beef up my current inventory, and I'm good, and I can wait till the weather warms up, and it doesn't actually cost me anything out of pocket, to go work in the garage. So I'm getting a little bit bored myself. Hmm. Isn't that Juggernaut V2 dual coil? It's a big old dual coil thing, isn't it? I think I watched somebody's video on it here a while back. Yeah, you really need a clean room if you're going to sell them. You really do. I mean, I didn't, but this is a long time ago, back when it was legal for me to sell juice. I mean, I didn't have a clean room, but I mean, I made sure everything was sterilized and whatnot. And, I mean, my house is fairly airtight, so it's clean enough. I mean, uh, you got to consider what you're going up against. I mean, okay, there might be a tad particle of dust in this juice, but how much safer is that than smoking a cigarette? Hmm. Hey, Angel, how you doing, buddy? Oh, glad you came in. I was telling everybody about I finally got my Eclipse you sent to me. And of course, this ain't the drip tip. It ain't the drip tip it comes with. And I was telling everybody how well I like it. I really do. Just got done with the video on it. And I hadn't got it edited yet. But now I built this kind of for my way of vaping, which, is not, it's kind of like just restricted direct long. And, but yeah, I really do like it. It's working fantastic. Is your truck broke again, Angel? Did you break your truck? But yeah, this thing's putting out plenty of flavor for me. And I thought because I looked at the bottle, I thought it was 18, but it's actually 20. Now that I remember the last time I mixed this juice, I bumped it up to 20. So it's a pretty good hit. Yeah, it's a pretty good hit. I've just got a regular Clapton coil in it. Nothing real fancy. Yeah, it's just a thing. It's the original Eclipse that is designed for a single coil. You really couldn't even put a dual coil in it. You might get two little bitty ones off in there, but it's it's basically it was designed for a single. It's not the dual one, because there's two. There's a single. I think there might be even be three. What is it they call that one? I don't think I can see the box from here. I don't think it was called an Eclipse though. No, it's the intake is what I'm thinking about. But yeah, there's a single and a dual Eclipse. But yeah, when I built it for me, for the way I vape, it works just fine. And it actually works, since it's a single coil, works better for me than the big dual coils. Now, a small device, say a 24 or even 22 with two small coils in it, work good for me. But the great big devices with the two big old coils, I just don't. That's I mean, they work great, but it's not for me. But yeah, this works great. In fact, the next time I build it, like I say, I didn't use the coil that come with it. I just put a regular simple Clapton coil in it. And I think the next time I do it, because of how it's designed, I think I can get away with just a big gauge round wire coil. I think it'll suit me good in it. I think it'll work just fine because of how close the coil is to the the top and the real small chamber. I think a round wire would probably a good sized round wire coil would probably work just fine for me. Because you got to remember, most of my juices that I mix are high nick. I don't do the lower nick stuff. Yeah, I did a deal on round wire the other day. It's in the cleaner now, where it was and I had never, simply because of how we had to do it back in the day, I had never done really big gauge round wire coils, and I put one in one of them. Oh shit, one of them things from Demi and Phil tanks, and it worked just fine. Yeah, it worked just fine. Of course, it was mouth to lung. See if I missed anything here. Oh, there we go. What? Hell? How did you tear the transmission up, man? Damn. That looks that looks expensive. And destroyed the clutch. I figured you tore something up just because of the how rough the interstates are these days. That's what I figured. I didn't realize you'd taken the transmission out. Yeah, Andrew, I think that's what I did the other day. Was I think it was three. It was either 2.5 or 3, but I think it was 3. And the biggest Canthal wire I got is 26 gauge. I've got some 24 stainless steel, I think, but I did this one out of 26 gauge Canthal, and it worked just fine. Of course, it was a fruit flavored juice that I put in it, and so it was, you wouldn't have to you weren't having to hunt for the flavor. It was there. Yeah, Josh, in fact, I used up the last of my homemade Clapton wire today, and if it warms up any, I need to go out in the garage and make some more, because what's been really working for me in my little single cores is 26 stainless steel wrapped with 34 has been working real good for me. And I would wrap it with 36 if I had any, but I ran out and I haven't ordered any wire in a long time. I've been trying to use up what I had, or in stock, because I hate ordering just one roll or 2 rolls of wire, just because I ran out of one gauge. So I try to use up the other, but the 34 seems to be working just about as good as the 36 did. I never tried the twisted then fused. Now, are you out of town, Angel, or are you home getting the truck fixed, or you broke down out of state? Weatherford, Texas. That's right out of between Fort Worth and Dallas, somewhere in that area, isn't it? Yep, a little west of Fort Worth. That's right. That's right. I was trying to remember which way I went, but I've been there. I used to go there to a motorcycle shop. I only went a couple of times. Oh, you're actually in Irving. Well, that's kind of in between, I believe. That's where I got my big drag bike from. Was a guy that had a VW shop in Irving, and that's all he did was VWs, and it was a big, nice shop. And he drag raced too, and he decided he wanted to switch over from bikes to cars, and so the dealership I was working at let him trade the drag bike in on a 1-ton truck to pull his trailer with, because he was going to get him a lot bigger trailer and build a dragster, start racing dragsters. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass being broke down. Uh, out on the road, because you never know if the shop is worth a damn or not. That's what always bothers me. You know, do these guys have a damn clue about what the hell they're doing? You know, there's a little place up here up the road from my house. Uh, it's off the interstate. A guy came in there and built a shop, a big old shop, just to do diesel repair, and it didn't take them long. And they're covered up. They stay covered up constantly. Their whole parking lot is just full of trucks waiting on parts, waiting on this, waiting on that. But um, and then I guess plus you can't go nowhere. You got to just find you a motel room or whatever, or sleep. So I don't even know if they'll let you sleep in the truck, and you're just stuck until they get you fixed. Of course, out here, you know where I live. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. The damn parts situation is the trouble. The longest wait out here is waiting on damn parts. Yep. It'll probably take longer to get the parts in than it does to actually fix the truck. That's usually the way it goes. I had a choice back when I was a kid. I could have went down the big truck repair route or go down the automotive repair route, and I chose the automotive repair route. Well, hell, Angel, I might let you get me some wire then, because that was one of the problems I've always, every time I went over to Wire Optimum, because I'm on their list, and they send me all the flyers and whatnot on email. They've always been just a little bit high for my taste. I'm sure that's good wire, but they've always been just a little bit pricey for me. Of course, I'm a cheap fucker, so. I might have to, so I've made the comment on this coil in here is a little bit, I'd rather have a little bit higher resistance. I might try doing one just all Kanthal. The next time, just a high gauge of Kanthal with some Kanthal around the outside, and see if I can get the resistance up a little higher. I would prefer them to be about 0.8, 0.9, somewhere along in there. I think I did this as an experiment just to see if I could see anything by mixing the stainless steel with the Kanthal. just see what would happen and if I could see a difference. Yeah. As far as I can tell, the only difference I see is the ohm reading. This one might heat up a hair faster, I guess, than, you know, but that's back to the, you know, the ohms. Yeah, that's a good price there. If you get 50% off, that'll put them about down in my range. Yeah, this coil's starting to get broke in real nice. It was popping like hell to start with. I made the comment, I believe, on the video that, you know, because I had a cotton in it that's tighter than hell. I didn't think it really shouldn't have popped too much. I thought it just needed to get broke in good. Well, that's a little hard to describe, Angel. I'll do the best I can. On a now on this little K-Fun X, purely mouth to lung. Okay, I just use some real small mouth to lung Clapton wire. I don't even make it. I buy it on the spool for it. But now the ones I make out in the garage are just simple Claptons. I could make duals, but I just don't. The singles do me. So no use to going to the extra effort and whatnot to making a dual core one. But the way I vape is I like to do basically a restricted mouth to lung and not be in no hurry to vape, if that makes any sense. And that's the hardest part I have explaining to people. That's why I like to build the resistance. I like to build them with a little bit higher resistance to where it takes them a little while to heat up, a little bit longer to, you know, just a slow heat up so that you can take a nice relaxed vape. You don't have to be in no hurry. You don't have to worry about getting the airflow over your coil instantly so you don't burn the cotton or any kind of that, stuff like that. And I call it a relaxed vape because it kind of like what you used to do with a cigarette. All right, Andrew, thanks for coming in, buddy. We'll see you next week. But yeah, just do a relaxed vape like you used to do with cigarettes. You get in your recliner, your cup of coffee, you know, take a nice, relaxed drag, and that's the best way I can explain it. And what seems to be working for me good is either a 2.5 or, of course, depends on the tank, but a single coil tank that was basically designed to do direct lung like this Eclipse. What seems to work good for me in that is a single Clapton, about 3 millimeter ID with that ohms out at about 0.9, somewhere along in there. Even you can go up to 1 or 1.1 or even down to 0.8. But it seems to take those, and you don't give it a whole lot of wattage either, but you give it just enough to where once it does heat up, it makes good vapor. But you just don't have to be in a hurry about it. That's the best way I can explain it. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but that seems to what works for me. And like I say, I really don't do true direct lung, so I don't know that any of the, big old fancy stapled aliens, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that would suit me. Would be a good fit for me. I was like I say, just a simple single core Clapton does great. Plus, I mix my own juice, so if push comes to shove, we can just bump the flavoring up. I did the video the other day on that SXK clone of Jay Hayes' little bridge, and it did fine, except it did what ever RBA bridge I have, and I have a pretty good selection of them, does, and it eventually seeped out of the bottom airflow and got a little bit of juice all in my billet box. But it worked, and but yeah, I just some people say it's all right. I mean, there's even videos out there about how to take the grommets out and the positive connection out and seal it all with silicone and whatnot. But I hadn't got around to doing it. It just bothers me when one does that. And it took it several days to do it, but it just it bothers me when they do that. Of course, and everybody says, "Well, that's normal." Yeah. Okay. I'll set it up on the shelf and let it be normal. Now, I did hear something that I found interesting. Probably won't do it, but sounded good. Was on Demi and Phil's show last night. They had some new flavors coming out in their juice line, their unsalted line, and they sounded really good. Of course, you got to go around the world to get them. I wish they would sell one shots of their flavoring recipes, but I guess they're going for the big money, selling the juice only. But their flavor combination sounded real good. I would try them if they were at my local vape shop. I'd probably give them a try. but that'll never happen. So cubics. You know, I don't remember if it was the cubics. There was one bridge that came out a long time ago. I don't remember if it was the cubics or if it was something else that sounded had a weird name like that. And I kind of wanted, but it was almost impossible to get them in the U.S. They only like released them in Europe, and they I couldn't never get one. I don't remember. It was either the cubics or it was something similar to that. Yeah, Adrian, I wish they. I like to say, I wish they would do the one shots. You know, because there's people that it's almost impossible for them to get their juice, and if they do get it, it's my God, it's so damn high. It's just unfeasible. Well, somebody on there was complaining about the price, and of course, they were laying it off on the Canadians because I think that's even how folks like me in the U.S. has to get their juice. I think there's some person that you can get it from, but yeah, it's hard to figure out who, where, and when type thing. And so, they always say dash vapes in Canada, but my God, by the time you get it shipped down here and you pay all the taxes and all that, it's my God, that's just, I mean, I've got my own flavors that I'm happy with when it comes to the shit being $35 a bottle or something. I've got my own flavors that I'm plenty happy with for $3 a bottle. Let's see, what did I erase it or not? I can still get who is it? Oh, Flavor Jungle. Yeah, I can still get all the flavorings I want from Flavor Jungle. Now they have cut back. They kind of started doing their own brand of one shots. They still have a few of the mixers recipes, but they've kind of went to their own in-house one shots. But I can still get all the stuff I want from them. I don't know how much longer, but at the moment I can. That's where I get most of my stuff. But yeah, when I mix I use one shots a lot. What happened here? Uh, uh, one shots a lot in other recipes too. Like if I want a custard, I just use some one shot custard. And if I want a sugar cookie deal, I'll use a one shot sugar cookie. I don't go to the trouble of making a sugar cookie. If it's just going in a recipe as a one of the ingredients. I use one shots all the time. But I'm sure there's more money in, making and selling the whole juice, the whole 9 yards thing than there is just getting a little cut from somebody using your flavor recipe. Now, how do you say that, Chuck? Pantigo? Never heard of that place. Much less been there. Pantigo. Yeah, I guess I said it right. What is that close to? Yeah, you go into. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we still got three. At one time, we had three real vape shops and two smoke shops that had some vape stuff. I think we're down to two vape shops now, real vape shops. Yeah, you go in there and ask for one shot, they look at you like you got three heads. Mm. Oh, hell, I should have heard of that place, but I've been all around that area, but I don't recall it. Mm. Yeah, Josh, when you're dealing with tobacco flavors, I remember back when I used to deal with them, it didn't take but a little. You didn't need near the percentage uh, that you do on other flavors. You could get by with shit. If I remember right, I think you could get by with like 2 or 3%. Was plenty of tobacco flavor. I don't exactly recall the recipe I used to mix for myself, but uh, maybe it was 5, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was over 5% of the actual tobacco flavor I used. I think it was like either 3 or 4. I've got quite a few Flavora flavors. Capella, I really like Capella quite a bit. Of course, back in the, I mean, I still got a lot of TFA stuff uh, from back in the day. But there's a lot of the Capella flavors I like, and some Flavora flavors that I do like. Yeah, it's like this lava flow I mixed up. I mean, I think I used TFA stuff. I believe in all of it, you know, because that's just what I had on hand. And hell, I'm going to use it up, and it tastes good. It tastes fine, and I'm going to use it up before I buy anything else. I wished I, I wished I was as easy to please as my wife. You give her some cinnamon red hots and she's happy. Period. That's it. She's been vaping cinnamon red hots for 10 years. It's like she's just happy as she can be. And I've tried to get her over on other flavors, and she'll always go back to the cinnamon red hots. And so I said, okay. Yeah. I can almost mix her recipe by memory. I think TFA works good unless you're unless you're trying a real elaborate recipe. And my palate, I admit, my palate is just not as sophisticated uh, as some people's, because they'll be reviewing a juice and it's, oh, you get this note, you get that note, you get this note, and I'm vaping the same juice they're vaping it. I ain't seeing it, and then it's, well, you get this on the inhale and this on the exhale, and I'm sorry. you know, to me, you just taste the shit. You just taste it, okay? It ain't like I don't taste anything different than when I'm inhaling as when I'm exhaling. And I still hadn't understand. I've never tasted, besides, unless I throw some menthol or some ice in it, I've never tasted anything on the inhale. It's all after the fact that I taste it. I just don't. I just don't. I don't taste anything on the inhale. It takes a little while, for me to taste any damn thing. So maybe it's from eating hot sauce for too many years or whatever. Burnt out my taste buds or whatever. See, it's like right there. I mean, this is. Uh, I didn't taste anything when I inhaled it. I'm sorry. I just nothing. I didn't. I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm not even going to attempt that. I'm going to stick this drip tip under my tongue and give it a shot. Wow. Well, scientifically, I mean, I'm sure it's legit, because if you do the scientific research, they say that even on your tongue, that the taste buds are different on the side than the middle, and they do different things, and they taste different taste. So I'm sure there's something to it. It's just that it seems like a lot of stuff just to vape. Because to me now, I do get a little more taste when I exhale and let some of it come out through my nose. You'll get the aroma effect, the smell effect, and that it and the smell and taste kind of blend together by the time it gets to your brain. I'd always try to if I'm thinking about it, or if I'm really wanting to to taste something, I will exhale some of it, through my nose. Well, there's Neil. Hey, Neil. Thanks for showing up, buddy. Hope you're doing good today. All right, Chuck, I tried that. All it did. Of course, this is 20 milligram juice. You know what it did? Okay, it lit up the underside of my tongue. It's burning now. Oh, no. Hey, Cameron, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you before. Thanks for coming in. Can't say the taste was any better, but the nicotine sure hit the underside of my tongue. Oh. Yeah, I think I'll just keep vaping the way I've been for 10 years. Oh. Hell, jalapenos don't burn where you been, buddy. Jalapenos are just for taste. Burn in a jalapeno. Oh. I mixed up some stuff one time. Because I was in a position, I don't remember if it was for a job, for work, or what. I think it was for my wife. I did it for her. And what I did was I mixed up some juice that was, there was no, I didn't add any PG or VG to it. I substituted all the PG and all the VG. Now, of course, there was some in the nicotine, and then, of course, the flavorings of PG. But all the extra PG and VG you mix in when you mix the juice, I substituted distilled water. So it was, extra thin, almost like water as far as that went. And then I put it in a breath spray bottle for her, So if she was, in a position she couldn't vape, well, she could just get the little spray bottle out and you're good to go. I mean, you don't get the instant deal from it. It's, your mouth absorbs it and whatnot. Plus, you swallow a little bit. But of course, I mixed her some that was real low nic. I forget what it was now, but it worked. It worked great. I mean, as far as being satisfied, it worked. Took that nicotine craving away just right quick. Worked fine. But if you bumped it up, I think I mixed me some up about 24. Boy, if you got a shot of that, it kind of lit your mouth up just from the nicotine. And I gave it to some guy. I gave it away to some guys at work that were they weren't really smokers. They were young guys that really didn't smoke or had never smoked, but they were vapors. And of course, they were doing the 3 and the 6 ml juice that you got at the store, and I'd give them that little bottle. I said, here, treat this like a breath spray. I said, and see what you think. It took most of them's breath away. It was kind of funny. Oh yeah, I put everything in it. In other words, if I had the recipe, just like if I was normally going to mix juice. The, you got your nicotine, and my nicotine, what I'm using right now is 50/50 PG/VG. So you got your nicotine, then you got your flavorings, okay, and then you got the extra PG/VG to make up the bulk of the liquid. Well, I substituted that part, the PG/VG, with water, mixed it up, put it in a little spray bottle. It tasted great. I mean, it was just like, you know, uh, doing the hand test with the liquid. Yeah, tasted great, and like I say, it worked. If you were in a position that where you absolutely couldn't vape, well, hell, okay, then it's just it's breath spray. You just don't. Somebody says, "Hey, let me have a little bit of that." You don't do that. But as far as being covert, it was but it had everything in it that normal juice has. I just substituted the PG and VG for water. Also, one time made some for me. I made some toothpicks, like, and of course I used the red hot flavoring for that. It's just, the cinnamon toothpicks. You used to buy them at the store, and they were, of course, they just cinnamon flavoring. But I just made some regular red hot juice and cut back on a little bit of the PGVG and put in vodka, because the alcohol will expand the pores of wood. And if you ever done any woodworking, you know what I'm talking about. And of course, out there we use denatured alcohol. So I was using the alcohol from the vodka, help expand the pores of the wood on the toothpicks and let the stuff soak in. And you just soak the toothpicks in them for 3 or 4 days till they kind of turn color, and then put them in a little bottle. And when I was in a position I couldn't vape, I'd just reach in and get one of my little toothpicks, a regular toothpick, put it in my mouth. Of course, it would really light of course, it was cinnamon red hot, and it kind of lights your lips up a little bit. Kind of the same way the cinnamon toothpicks used to do, but it made the craving go away. Worked great. Oh yeah, Neil, I used to make them and sell them when I was in high school. I went through several different cinnamon red hots, but it's the cinnamon red hots. It's not cinnamon spice, Chuck. And the best one, of course, you can't even get anymore, I don't think, because there was some deal about it, and people said it was dangerous and this, that, and another. But I've used several different ones, and I can't even tell any difference in them from different companies. Back in the day, there was, the TFA is the one I've been using the most, but I have used some from other companies, and I couldn't tell any difference. I think like the Flavor West one, I couldn't tell any difference between it and the TFA one. Back in the day, though, there was one that even in TFA you could get one. I think it was suspended in alcohol instead of PG, I think, or it had alcohol in it, but it was a different suspension, but the flavor in itself was kind of the same. But now in her recipe, I can do it I don't mind it straight, red hots and sweetener. But on my wife's recipe, I use the red hots, the cinnamon red hots, and uh, vanilla cupcake. And I don't put any sweetener because the vanilla cupcake is the old school vanilla cupcake that has some sweetener in it, and I use that. Yeah, Chuck, I've seen people use the cinnamon red hots as a substitute for the cinnamon spice, and it will work, but you have to use very, very, very little of it so that you don't get the heat, the burn from it. You just kind of get the cinnamon spice taste because there is a cinnamon spice flavoring that is not hot whatsoever. But I have seen people use the cinnamon red hots in recipes to replace the spice, but you use very, very, very little of it. And oh, happy hippie! Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by, man. Everybody's in here today. You're here. Chuck's here. Angels was here. He might still be here. Thanks for coming by, man. Now, a long time ago, I used to get the hot tamales flavoring, which the little hot tamales candy, because they taste different than the cinnamon red hots. They have a different twang to it, and I liked it quite a bit too. It's kind of hard to find them now. I think TFA might have been the only person that had the hot tamale flavoring because it's a little different than the cinnamon red hots. And the problem you have with mixing either one of those is you can only go so strong with it, and you can't go very strong with it at all and go a high VG because it will not mix worth a damn with VG. Uh, the thinnest or the thickest I can go is 50-50 with the percent of red hots that I use, which I think it's about 8% maybe. And if I go to 10, it won't mix with the VG, and it'll separate. If if you shake it, you get the cloudy stuff, and then if you leave it alone, it'll eventually separate back out. But at 8%, I think it's 8%, 50-50, it stays suspended. It'll stay mixed, but that's one of the deals. Oh yeah, and that cracks the hell out of the tanks. Yeah, you got to be real picky if you put it in a plastic tank. Some of them will handle it. The vast majority won't handle it. I have a few that I tried and hadn't had any problems. I think the PCTG or whatever the hell it is, if it's real, will work because the one that came in the Vandy Vape kit doesn't have a problem with the red hots at all. But yeah, most of them it'll just crack or dissolve, and yeah, it don't get along good with plastic at all. Because back in the day, there was lots of damn juices didn't get along with plastic. I had some pineapple that didn't get along with plastic, and I had a wild cherry that didn't get along with plastic. All right, Chuck, thanks for stopping by. We're not going to be on here much longer. Yeah, Neil, I think I still got a little bit left. I had a wild cherry from I forget the name of the company, but oh man, I loved the taste. I loved it, but it tickled my throat. It tickled my throat, made me cough, and I couldn't even get used to it. I tried because it was so good, and it was just it and some sweetener, and oh man, it was good. But it tickled. I guess it was like an allergic reaction. I mean, I didn't swell up or anything or have trouble breathing, but it tickled my throat every time I take a vape, and it would end up making me cough a lot of times. And it wasn't a throat hit; it was a tickle, like an allergy type deal. And I finally had to quit it, but I loved the flavor, and it was a real wild cherry flavor. It wasn't just cherry fruit. It was like the wild cherry candy, and it was great. All right, Josh, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Like I say, we've rattled on here for almost 2 hours. We're not going to be in here much longer. I think it was, I want to say Flavor West was the wild cherry. It was, I could be wrong though. Yeah, that's that cherry fruit, the real cherry flavor. Yeah, that mixes good with other things, but I just never, I wasn't, I didn't prefer it just straight cherry. But this wild cherry was, I liked it just straight. But the regular cherry fruit flavorings, is good if you're going to like make a cherry cheesecake or something like that. you know. Yeah, Neil, I actually got a store bought juice that's one of the two. I only have two. I only do two that I buy at the store. Oh, it's a cherry lime with ginger is what it is, and I like it. It's good. I've got two flavors I buy at the store, and that's it. And I don't vape them very often either. Of course, I gotta add some nicotine to the damn thing. Oh, oh, you're back, Angel. We didn't know if you was gone or still here, just lurking. I thought you was just lurking. But this is pretty good. I like it. And the other night, I kind of blew my wife's mind because she was listening. She was in here playing with her computer, and I was watching Phil and Demi when they were talking about their juice. And the one guy was complaining about the price of it by the time he had to get it from Canada. And I think he said it was, I don't know if it's all totaled or whatnot, but anyhow, the number $27 came up for a bottle of juice. She says, "My God, that's high." Of course, the last time she bought juice was 10 years ago. And I said, well, hell, I picked up that bottle similar to that size that I bought just the other day because I try to support my little local vape shop a little bit, And I said, well, this cost $25. And she's, oh my God. She had no idea that it was, that high now. Because she hadn't had to buy any in 10 years. So. Mm. Now, what was it? Let's see. What was the name of that one? Oh, yeah. I need to write that down. I need to see what they got. They usually get stuff from Flavor Jungle. Oh, I'm writing it wrong. Let's see, Flavor. I'm going to look them up, see what they got. Flavor Express. Yeah, Angel, that's what got me into vaping, or really sold me on it, was the how much money I saved way back in the day. Uh, even of course back then the little stuff was cheap. I mean, CE4s and Ego batteries. I mean, and the juice was the highest thing back in them days, but it still wasn't that bad. And of course, it was all high nic, so you didn't vape that much, And of course, this was even before I realized there was a hobbyist side to vaping. I was just getting off cigarettes. That was my main thing. And when I saw that it was going to work really good for me as far as the nicotine went, well, shit, then I realized how much damn money I was saving. And between me and her both, we went from like $300 a month to $3 a month, so, I mean, it helped as a car payment. I mean, just by switching over to vaping. I mean, we saved enough money, back 10 years ago, $300 was a car payment. Well, see, Neil, I've seen some flavorings out there that did the Hawaiian Punch thing. And some of them even claim to do the Red Bull Hawaiian Punch thing. I've never actually tried them myself, but I have seen them. Yeah, I saw that Happy Hippie. I got that. Flyer today. I looked at them. I was trying my best to use up some of this flavoring I got before I buy new. I was trying my best to find some recipes that I liked or new ones I liked and use up what I had before I bought any new stuff. Trying to be frugal, not fruitful, frugal. Get the right word, because it's like this lava flow I mixed up the other day. That was from all stuff I already had, and it's good, a good vape. So. You can go down that damn rabbit hole with flavorings just as bad as you can billet boxes and boral tanks if you're not careful. But you'll see a new flavor. Oh, I got to have that. And before you know it, you got 200 bottles of flavoring sitting over there. There's lots of damn rabbit holes in this industry. You can fall down in a heartbeat. Now, I did notice. Now, what do you think, Happy Hippie? Have you noticed that on Flavor Jungle that they have cut back greatly on the one shots by the developers and started going over their like in-house one shots? Have you noticed that, or is that just me? Well, Neil, you ought to be able to get flavorings. Maybe not, not juice, but you ought to be able to buy flavorings from the flavoring companies. Yeah, Angel, you can go down that rabbit hole. Yeah. A DIY rabbit hole is just as bad as any of the rest of them. You can go down that too. It's fun though. I mean, it's good. It's a good little hobby. You can call it, just like collecting a vape gear. It's no different. It's just
Hmm.
Yeah, happy hippie. I mean, I've done it before. You just be scrolling down through there, and you most of those little, 10 ml bottles of flavoring that you'll see it. Oh, that looks good. Click. Oh, it looks good. Click. you know, yeah. Hmm. It's real easy to get caught up into that. The only advantage to it, uh, really good advantage to it, I'll put it that way, is you have control of the juice. You have control of how much flavoring or sweetener, and you can stock up. It's a lot easier to stock up on stuff uh, than if you're buying a ready-made juice. Because I've got like, at least a gallon of Nick in the deep freeze right now. It's very possible that would last me the rest of my life. So that is the real advantage to it, you know. And it does save you money on the once you find a recipe you like, uh, and you mix up, the bottle of juice you mix up is going to be a whole lot cheaper than the store bought. But you're going to throw away a whole lot of juice that you mixed up, even if you mix up small amounts and you don't like it, it doesn't turn out right. Uh, Basically, you're going to throw it away. That's what ends up happening. Or you're going to let it sit till it turns black, and you'll end up throwing away a lot. Yeah, happy hippie. I had to school the little nurse I had here the other day when I went to the doctor, because I needed to get my blood pressure prescription renewed, and I had to change doctors because the one I had retired, and her daughter took over any of her patients that wanted to come to her now. So naturally, you had to go through the whole, history crap. Telling them, your life story for medical history and all that good shit. And she finally got around to the little nurse was doing it, her little assistant nurse or whatever, was taking all the information down. And she finally got around and she asked me, she said, well, now, do you smoke? And I said, no. She said, well, how long have you not smoked? And I said, 10 years. And she said, how long did you smoke? I said, 30 years. Okay, she's writing all this shit down, you know. And then she says, well, do you vape? And I said, yes. How long have you vaped? 10 years, ever since I quit smoking. And and then they asked me, I'd never been asked this before, but she asked me, she says, well, what strength of nicotine do you use? And I said, well, it depends on what device I'm using. And it went right over the top of her head. You could see it just went flat over the top of her head. And I'm going, well, you should know about this if you're going to ask the damn question. So I had to go to the trouble of explaining to her that I mixed my own juice so that I knew exactly what the hell was in my juice, and I could regulate how much nicotine was in my juice. And depending on what device I was using, it took a different level of nicotine. And you could tell that just blew her mind totally away. And I said, yeah. Well, Neil, I didn't know Arkansas had that. Was that? I thought they was a good old red state. I didn't know they were that bad against vaping. So last I knew, they were a red state, and usually you didn't have those problems. Of course, and then the new doctor, she comes in, and she's giving me the actual checkup, And of course, you can watch them when they read the damn history. Oh, shitty vapes. Oh my God, it's bad as smoking. Well, okay. Do your test. And every time I've ever went since I quit smoking, because when I did smoke, they start listening to your chest. Well, they could tell you smoked. Because first off, when they told you to take a deep breath, well, you coughed. Well, I don't do that shit no more. Anyhow, so every time it's like they hunt. I mean, they listen here, here on the back, and I mean, and it's take a deep breath every time. I mean, they do it so long, I'm getting dizzy from hyperventilating because they are hunting. They are hunting trying to find a problem, and I just waited till she got done, and I said, I said, sound pretty good, huh? Yeah. She just, she didn't want to admit it. Yeah. I said, and what was my blood oxygen level? Oh, 95. It's a pretty good number, huh? Yeah. And you can tell it. Oh, you're back, Chuck. But I mean, it's like they hunt. They have to hunt to try to find a problem, and then when they can't find one, you can tell they're kind of disappointed. I don't care what you say, because that's been my experience the whole time I've been vaping. Because the whole time my lungs have gotten better, and they sound better, they work better, and they refuse to believe it, even when they see it with their own eyes and hear it with their own ears. They still don't want to believe it, and you know. Well, I don't know. I don't guess we got anything out here besides whatever the federal postal thing turned out to be, as far as I know. Uh, at the moment, Neil, out in Arizona, we don't have. I don't think we have anything besides the little federal postal crap that never really seemed to affect anything in reality. I don't know what my O2 levels were back when I smoked, because I don't think they had the little things to stick on your finger back in them days. If they did, all it told you was your pulse. I don't. I don't think back in them days it told you the oxygen level. I don't think they had that technology back then, because I don't ever remember putting one on my finger. Yeah, Neil, you need to hook up with Happy Hippie and Angel. I think they got a guy. I've never bought anything from him, but they got a guy that they really like and trust, and I think I think he flies under the radar pretty good. Well, Angel, doesn't that place in what is it, 8 Vape in Vegas? They'll ship to us, won't they? I don't. I've never ordered any juice from them. I've ordered some hardware once, and they're actually in. I mean, it's in Vegas. They're in Nevada. Of course, I don't know. We keep turning bluer by the day, so we could have some of them stupid ass laws next week. There's a lot of those places. Hell, they'll just keep selling until they get caught or fined enough to make them stop. Yeah, as far as I knew, Angel, we didn't have anything in our state that besides the postal bullshit they come out with here a while back. Yeah, Chuck, my OSB wanted to update when I fired my computer up today, and I said, nope, nope, remind me later, nope. Well, I won't have to be in no hurry to tune in. It might take you about 10 minutes to get everything back working right. I don't know. My Zoom might do it automatically. I don't know, but I don't use it as hard as you do. So I don't remember it ever asking me to update. But it seems like the damn OSB wants to update every week or two. And of course, I don't use it. I don't use it near as hard as you do, but I've never had a problem with it. So I don't know that I would have probably just been as happy with the original version I downloaded to start with. Yeah, I had hair content today, not a whole lot. Sometimes there's nothing that nothing happens, no new stuff. And, you just gotta kind of gotta wing it. Of course, y'all can always get Robert off on a tangent, and that takes care of the show. Uh, of course, I guess, Angel, that's all you got to do now that you're broke down is either watch TV or surf the internet. Hope they got a good place to eat somewhere around there. Yeah, I got to finish editing it and get it posted. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was I can't remember the name of it. There was a privately owned steakhouse, and I want to say it's either between Irving and Dallas, or I know when we used to go to Dallas and race, we would eat there every now and then. I think I don't remember exactly, but anyhow, it was a fantastic steakhouse, but it wasn't a commercial one. It was a privately owned deal, and of course it was expensive as hell. I mean, but if you want to eat real nice one night, it'd be a good place to go. But I can't remember the damn name of it now. No, Neil, the last thing I ordered was all that stuff I did reviews for recently, and that was from 3F. And I wasn't waiting on anything to be manufactured or come from a manufacturer. Now, who is that heathen guy you're talking about? Or Heathen? I don't guess I know who that is. Hmm. Yeah, the China New Year's what's going to screw everything up for a while, as far as, well, everything actually. Yeah, I don't guess I ever heard of him. I wish we had a holiday like that. Of course, it don't matter to me now that I'm retired, but it'd have been nice when I was working. Get hell about like 2 weeks or a month off and all that kind of shit. Yeah, any of that stuff don't, it just don't work on my channel because that's just not what I'm about. A holiday, that's what you're on right now. That counts as a holiday. You don't have to work, so yeah, you're kind of locked in a motel room, but you don't have to work. So that counts as a holiday, man. Yeah, yeah. It's an unpaid holiday, That's what they used to call them, unpaid holidays. This battery, oh, ain't got much battery left in it. I have to vape these every once in a while. They sit in here and they don't get vaped often, and the juice gets a little old and sitting in the coil. I have to take a couple of hits, bring them back to life. When I lived in Texas, we would take kind of a 4-day vacation when they had uh, the drag racing at the Motorplex outside of Dallas when they had the Nationals. We would go there. Sometimes we'd go 4 days. Sometimes we'd just go two. And but otherwise, we would take our week-long vacations. We'd go to Galveston and sharkfish. Uh, and then we moved to Kentucky. And the hell of it was when we lived in Kentucky, we'd take our vacations to Las Vegas. And then we just said, fuck it, we'll just move out here. So now, people ask me where I go on vacation. I say, well, nowhere. I said, I live where I used to vacation to, because it's just, we don't go to Vegas. We go to Laughlin. It's 20 miles down the road. It's just right over the hill. You got, about 8 casinos. So when you move to where you used to take your vacations, it's kind of pointless to take a vacation. You can go every weekend. Yeah, there ain't no mold out here, Chuck. The place where the area I live in, they've got these little. They call them the local term is grease bushes, but what it reminds me of is the little small mesquite trees in Texas. Uh, when they were more of a bush than a tree, and but these out here don't have stickers, but they're kind of the same thing, and they're a evergreen, even though they don't look like it. They don't have needles; they have real leaves, and they don't have stickers on them. But they're a nuisance type bush, and they have little white flowers, in the spring, and so you get some pollen from that. And then there's some little bitty yellow flowers. That's where the name this valley got its name from, Golden Valley. There's some kind of little like grass type little bitty wildflowers that bloom. They come do it just about after, as long as it's warm. After any rain, they'll bloom for a day or two, and that's about it. Besides the dust, if you have a problem with dust, I wouldn't recommend it. But as far as mold, fungus, that type of shit, yeah, we don't have that out here. Yeah, and there's some cedar trees way up in the mountains, but there's none out here in the valley. Yeah, West Texas is kind of close to our environment, except we don't get where I'm at doesn't get as cold as West Texas gets in the winter. I've heard people talk about that, but I've never encountered it, and I don't know if it's the same thing as what I'm thinking about. What they warned me about was when we were prospecting. They said that if you made a habit of playing in the dirt, digging holes, breathing a lot of dust dirt in, that there was some kind of fever you could catch from that, but we never did. Uh, Shit, El Paso's a long ways from anywhere. Shore, another big town, doesn't matter. It's a long ass ways from anywhere from El Paso. Because from where we used to live there outside of Waco, if you was going to California, say L.A., when you got to El Paso, you was halfway there, and you barely got, you weren't actually out of Texas yet. You still had three more states to go through, but you was halfway to where the hell you was going. Well, now that valley fever, is that the same thing I'm talking about, where you catch it from? It lives in the dirt, and you catch it. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, they warned us about that when we started. I heard stories when me and a friend of mine were prospecting up around the end of the Grand Canyon, but we never had a problem. But I have heard about it. if that's how you catch it, I can see it actually being worse around a city than out here in the middle of nowhere because of them disturbing the ground with construction and whatnot. Yeah, and it may get cold enough here to knock it back a little bit. It does get below freezing every great once in a while. And it's always, I mean, it's when the wind blows real bad, it's more dusty in town than it is out here in the valley, because there's kind of a crust developed out here, and if you don't mess with it, it's it's kind of hard, and it doesn't blow around when the wind blows. But uptown where they're always doing some building or working on the streets and this, that, and another, some construction. Hell, it's more dusty up there than it is out here, in the middle of the valley. All we got out of that, Neil, was some little, in my area, was just some little light rains. I mean, real light. Every great once in a while. It's like last night. It sprinkled a little bit for just a few minutes, and that was it. Today the sun is shining, so we didn't get nothing, none of that in my area. We didn't get none of that like they got out there. If it did, by the time it got here, it was just a real light rain. That happens a little bit out here, Chuck. You can watch them. They'll uh, some of them, if they're not real strong and real big, they won't make it over because I've got a range on the east side of me and I got a range on the west side of me. And uh, if the storm is not just really a real, strong one, it won't make it across. It'll peter out. Hell, if we got 3 to 5 inches in a week, they'd be building arcs out here. They wouldn't know what to do. It can rain an inch. If it rains an inch in town, the streets are flooded. There'll be lots of streets that'll have 6 inches of water on them, and it's because the county I'm in and the town up here, way back when they were developing and building all that stuff. Well, everybody, it was a buddy system. My buddy that's on the city council is the one that gives out the contracts, and my other buddy is the one that does the inspections. And so we'll build this street a foot below grade without and no drains and level. So it converts into a nice little lake when it rains. And nobody was held accountable because, like I say, it's a buddy deal. It's like you know, there in the county I lived in there in Texas, even the gravel roads were had specifications they had to meet, and when they made the road, it had to be this much above grade, and it had to be sloped to this angle, and it had to have nice little drainage ditches down both sides, uh, and the street I'm on out here, of course, like I say, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, but the street I'm on out here, all they did was make a straight line and run a road grader down it and smooth it. There's your road. That's it. Sand. And what little bit of rock is in the sand, that's your road. And every time they grade it, they just go a little deeper. They take a little bit more dirt off. And so the actual surface of the road, I'd say it's at least out here, it's at least a foot or more below grade. So, it's the drainage ditch. When it does rain a whole lot, well, the road is the drainage ditch, you know. The only good thing is once if 15 minutes after it quit raining, after it stops raining, well, the water drains real quick, even though it's going down the middle of the damn road. It's still gone, but, it'll wash places out that you'll have to, go slow through and whatnot. And you call the county and say, hey, road washed out, and in a couple of days they'll come out and blade it off smooth again. Well, Angel, ain't they got some kind of other little law that says if they have to come rescue you from a wash, you get charged, not just a ticket, but you get actually charged for the service of them coming and rescuing your ass. I think I heard something about that. Yeah, I got caught one time. There's nowhere out here. Well, I guess I don't know if there's anywhere out here that. Well, even on my road, there has been a time or two I'd have to stop and wait. If I'd have been trying to come home and it's just a certain time right after a downpour, I'd have to stop and wait about maybe 15 minutes for the water to go down, and then I could cross. There was one spot went back when we were prospecting. We tried to come on our way home when we were coming out of or way back up in there. It had rained, miles over this way, and the runoff had come over into our area, and we had to wait. There was a couple of spots we had to wait for the water to go down so we could get across. Well, guys, I tell you what, I think we're going to wrap this up. We have rambled on and beat this dead horse about as far as I think we can go today. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Man, this is the most people I've ever had in chat. Thank y'all for all coming over. Chuck, if you can throw a little thing up in to promote your show of some kind. If you've got some kind of little quick link, if you want to throw it up in there. right quick before everybody gets off here for your show tonight. I should be there, unless I take a nap and miss it. Don't wake up in time. But I think we got you're hard on the boy, Angel. You're hard on him. uh, uh, I don't see the link yet. Anyhow, for y'all that don't know, it's, the name of the show is Raw Talk. You should be able to just go to Google and search it and find it. It'll be tonight at, well, I don't know what time it'll be for you other people out there that watching. It's 6 o'clock for me. It's 5 o'clock their time, or Chuck's time. 6 o'clock for me right now. 8 p.m. Eastern. That's one good thing I like about YouTube. It automatically converts it to my time. So when I see the thumbnail for it, it's already converted it to my time. I think that's a neat little deal. So anyhow, I think we're going to close this thing up. And I don't see any reason why we won't have another show next week at the moment. So same bat time, same bat channel. Thank everybody for coming in. Thank everybody for participating in the chat. And for all you people that watch the replays, you know, if you'd like to comment, please feel free to leave a comment on the replay. Thank everybody for coming in. Thank everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.